Hi golfers, Nick here for Nick Taylor Golf. It's Friday, so welcome to another lesson on golf tips. This week on golf tips, we're going to be talking about the wrist movement in the golf swing. I've got one of my students here, Lisa. Thanks for joining me today.
Welcome.
I really appreciate it. Lisa's been on a previous video where we looked at her swing, but today's lesson we're going to be specifically looking at the Hackmotion sensor. So this sensor measures so many different movements of the wrist. The one we're going to be taking a look at today would be the kind of the flexion and extension of the wrist. So basically this would be flexion, this would be extension. So we're looking at how that affects the club face, how it affects the club path, and the delivery of the club into the ball. So we've got Lisa today. She's going to be demonstrating here with a driver. So we're going to take a look at her swing shortly, see what she does in a golf swing, and see what happens to her wrist movement in the golf swing. Lisa swings back here. This app's going to kind of give us some feedback here on what's happening. So good. So if you guys are watching this video after it's just been released, there's actually going to be a promotion for the whole of November. If you use this link, which I'll put on the screen here, there'll be a link in the description below as well. If you use that link, there's going to be 20% discount for November. So you just click on that link and obviously you can go ahead and buy the product. We're going to be taking a look at the player app today. So I've just loaded up the session here. And the first thing we need to do is just get this calibrated. So it's going to start session, as you can see on the screen here. So first thing we need to do is calibrate it. So Lisa, if you just place your hand out like that, keep it flat. So your fingers are level with the forearm. And then just keep your arm in position and up. So just simple as that. Very easy to kind of calibrate. If Lisa now moves her wrist here, she's going to see how the little robot guy on the screen there kind of moving, and basically it's going to kind of measure how she moves her wrist in the golf swing. So it's very simple to set up, very easy to calibrate. Now we're going to take a look at Lisa's golf swing. So we're going to take a look at Lisa's driver here. We're going to take a look at what the wrist motion is saying with her swing. We're going to take a look at some of the club data and the ball flight. So any struggles you have with your drive at the moment, Lisa?
I think it's slide a bit to the right.
Slice to the right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Lisa tends to slice. So we're going to take a look at maybe why that happens, what happens with the wrist sensor, and hopefully we can help her play better golf. So Lisa's going to go ahead and hit her drive here. Okay, so you can see Lisa's shot there just kind of slice off to the right. Now, if we take a look on the screen here, we get some data that flashes up right away. So top of the swing there, you can see outside the range, and an impact there outside of the range. So if we take a look at this in a little bit of detail, so we can see there 1 degree out to in, or 0.8, and the club face was 11 degrees open. So Lisa sliced across that ball, and you can see here from the wrist angles, obviously that's going to be a big factor in why Lisa sliced the golf ball. You can see Lisa's shot there, she hit it a bit high on the face, about 1 degree out to in and quite open with the club face. Now, when we take a look at this data on the screen, just to give you guys a little bit of context here, so you can see how the wrist sensor is measuring the address position, which is 16 degrees there. So at least if you take a look at that, your address position is 16 degrees from the forearm to the left wrist sensor. At the top of the swing, you increase that to 60. So as you went back, your wrist actually increased this way. Okay, and that's where sometimes you get quite a long golf swing, and this tends to open the club face in the swing, and then by the time you got back to the impact position, you weren't quite back to where the range would be to kind of square up the club face as best as possible. So that's one of the reasons why you have the open face. Generally with an open face, you tend to see golfers kind of slice across it. Now, Lisa tends to control irons a little bit better, and she has a slightly shorter swing, and she keeps her wrist angles a bit more controlled in the swing. But as soon as she lengthens the swing and that wrist starts to extend a little bit too much in the backswing, kind of leads to generally slightly out to in, but generally an open club face. So in this video, we're going to kind of try and fix this position. We're going to take a look at your swing on the video. I'm going to try and fix this. But if we take a look on the app here, as you look on the screen, there is actually kind of a practice drill. So if you're using this app, you can see in the bottom corner here, there's a motorcycle drill. So if you click on that, it basically tells us a way of how we can fix this. So this is really a good way of kind of when you're training your swing, you can kind of use this app to fix your swing. So if we kind of rehearse what the guy's doing in the screen here, so you can see as he goes to the top here, he's kind of flexing like this. We call this like the motorcycle drill if you're like riding a motorbike. Yeah? You've done that before, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so that's the feeling you've got to try and get in your swing. Okay, and I think if you can keep it a little bit shorter, I think that's going to also help you control kind of the length of your swing a bit better, in terms of much easier to control your wrist, much easier to strike the middle of the face. We can see how sometimes you don't quite strike the middle. So if we click on this button here, it says rehearse this now. So as you go to your setup. So as Lisa swings back here, this app's going to kind of give us some feedback here on what's happening. So good. So you hit the range there. Okay, that's the feeling you need to get. So with the app here, get Lisa to do this like 3 times. Yeah, that was good. And one more. Okay, perfect. So that gives Lisa the feeling she needs for her wrist. It's hopefully going to help her deliver the club better into the golf ball. So we head on to the next step. What we're going to try and do is hit some shots here and then take a look at see if we've improved this wrist movement and the delivery of the club into the golf ball. Okay, really good. Okay, how'd that feel?
So much different.
Okay, good. So when we take a look at the app here, you can see that we're still slightly outside the range at the top, but we've probably made a slight improvement there. And then at impact, we're much closer to where you want it to be. So just changing that feel definitely gives Lisa kind of a different delivery. So when we take a look at the club data there, you can see like 2 degrees into out, 1.6 degrees close. That's definitely going to improve her ball flight and her consistency in a golf swing. Awesome shot. Really good. How does that feel?
So good.
Okay, so that was really good. So 3 degrees into out, 0.3 close. So big difference there from Lisa. What we're going to do now, just take a look at some of that data. We're going to take a look at her swing, see what the difference is on the video. Okay, so good work, Lisa. Big difference there in the ball flight. How did that feel?
So like I feel so much difference.
Yeah?
Like, yeah.
Well, you can see a difference there in the shots, right? You just started to hit into out, started getting the face a bit more closed, started to draw the ball back. And if Lisa can get that feel in her swing, she can start to swing slightly inside out, get that face more closed. You also notice how she was hitting slightly up on the ball. So that combination is definitely going to help Lisa get some distance. So we're going to take a look at her swing here on the screen. So if you just hold on to your club here, Lisa, and go to the top. On the screen here, you can see Lisa's original swing. She kind of overextended this wrist and overswung. And then from the side view, as she came down at left arm parallel, this wrist was slightly cupped here. And that kind of steepens the shaft, opens the face. As soon as Lisa gets that a little bit flatter, change the kind of shaft plane there and the delivery of that club into the golf ball. So that was the swing change we made. Let's take a look at the data here on the Hackmotion app. So if we go to shot number 1 here, so this is Lisa's first shot, we saw that open face about 12 degrees open. You can see at the top of the swing, she was way outside the range and an impact outside the range. As soon as she starts to extend that wrist through the ball, opens the club face like we saw in that first shot. So after doing those practice rehearsals, we hit a couple of shots. So let's take a look at this. So the next shot we hit, still slightly outside of the range at the top, but you can see at impact she started to get that better. So that downswing movement that Lisa was trying to feel definitely flattened her wrist and changed the kind of the swing plane and the club face into the ball. Very similar on that next shot as well. So a couple of good ones in a row there. And then the next one just slightly outside of the range. So pretty close, but that's kind of the feel that's really going to help her using the Hackmotion. Obviously we've got some good data here on the quad and good video. All those things really help as well. So hopefully guys, you enjoy the video. Thanks again, Lisa, for sharing your time with me. I do really appreciate it. I know Lisa's been on before and she did an amazing job, and at some point we'll take a look at her swing and maybe on the course, or maybe we'll see some more swings in the bay. But I think you're doing really well, Lisa. I do really appreciate your time. So hopefully guys, you enjoyed the video. Obviously I've mentioned at the beginning there about the offer for Hackmotion. If you're watching this video just after it gets released, it's worth, if you're interested in getting this product, this is a good time to get it. You can get 20% off with the link in the description below. So thanks for watching, golfers. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again next week for
another video.